for this next part of the reading were, when everything was broken, the devil hit his second stride. But you remember what I told you. Someday I'll need your spine to hide behind. And it was actually Christ Yeshua who came through with these particular lyrics saying, you will do even greater works than I. Like someday I will need to, stand behind your Christed field. And just speaking to the fact that everything is broken energetically right now, and we're all feeling that, and we're also feeling that whole energy of, quote, the devil hitting his second stride. Spirit refers to this as an ominous energy or a sense of foreboding, something that gives us the chills, but not like the good chills, the chills that actually make our hairs kind of stand up on the back of our neck. And Spirit said it can even just be a feeling of pure evil. And as a thought field, this frequency can come as this temptation or luring or distracting us away from our connection with soul. And it can be as simple as us having the decision to do something good for ourselves at the start of the day and just being like, oh, I'm going to go do this over here real quick and I'll get back to it. And then never getting back to it. And it's such a simple lore is how it always is. It's always a seductive thing that makes you kind of feel like you're doing the right thing, but it's always away from the direction of the connection to soul. Spirit talks about when it's in a person or a group of people that you will notice this energy as a kind of separate individual, that they're independent in their identity and they tend to have an authority that is kind of all their own. When we see it as the collective subconscious of humanity, we have to remember that the goal is always separation. And the Christ blueprint talks about this separation being from self, from others, and from God. And it creates isolation, low self-worth, aloneness, and feeling cut off from everyone. And as a person or as a group of people, it can become controlling, jealous, cruel, acts out of pride. There's often a veneer of social respectability, but there's this feeling of being suspicious or wary or codependent. Spirit also speaks to here of manipulation, having like a standoffishness or a distance emotionally. It can present as lust, greed, and sexual predation, often coming through as being cynical and disempowering of others. So very quick to put other people down rather than lift them up. And really wallowing in the sense of guilt and despair, or a mind that's very noisy or full of bluster, as Padma calls it. And we can often find these people or these organizations having an enhanced sense of self, disliking one-on-one interactions or relationships with people due to the level of vulnerability and transparency that requires, because they simply aren't able to engage in that way. And there's a continuous desire to need to make their own self or their own ego look bigger. They come from a place that has no basic trust in life. They are defensive, future focused, and always looking to acquire, to strive, consume, or offer promises that are often never fulfilled. And Spirit says that this eventually will lead to a fragmentation of the mind. So we have to remember that even though all of that stuff sounds, like something we do not want to come up against in any way, that we will have to feel it within our own soul's journey. And it will help us to remember that its purpose is to catalyze us and to transform us into who we truly are. So it gets rid of all of these overlays of who we think we are and allows us to once again find that compassionate neutrality through the full spectrum of human emotions. So it's not about denying certain emotions and saying these are bad or these are ungodly or these are not, connected to my heart. It's about embracing everything, allowing it to fully come through us, of course, doing no harm, but creating the space for that to flow.